Hello, everyone. Welcome to Carrow Road. I'm trying to adapt my microphone so that it is a little bit in the air and doesn't rub against my jacket, which kind of annoyed me last week. So, it's all about continuous improvement, is what I've learned. Which takes us in nicely to this evening's video verdict, where it finished at Norwich City 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Apologies, I'm slightly later on than I thought I would be. Some of that was basically for me to try and have a look at the highlights, just to remind myself of the big chances that Norwich missed. By the way, it's absolutely teaming it down. It's a rank old day. Really, really captivating game. I thought this. There'll be people who will probably look at this and go, "Oh, 0-0. That was exciting and eventful, and last match of the day or what have you." But there were some really interesting moments, and I thought it was quite a captivating game to watch in terms of how it unfolded. Obviously, we're still trying to work out what Dean Smith's Norwich City looks like, and what it is essentially. And I thought we were a little bit closer again to that, probably more so than after the Southampton game, which always felt like a changing of the guard almost in terms of how Norwich went about it, from the passive big spaces to compact, aggressive football that they played then in the second half against Southampton. And today, this was probably that taken on. Dean Smith said it was a better performance than against Southampton, which I would agree, certainly across the 90 minutes. So it was probably more cohesive over the entire piece. Whether Norwich entirely deserved 3 points against Southampton, you could argue, because Southampton was so good in the first half. Today, Norwich were probably better across the whole 90 minutes and only obviously came away with a goalless draw. So you could argue that they maybe deserve two more points than they've actually got. Wolves were a curious case because I thought the way they started, they looked really threatening, and there is something lovely about them. They are quite clearly a very good side. Now, whether they're a sixth place side in the Premier League, I think is questionable, because in fairness to Dean Smith, he tweaked the setup as they were going along. What he did worked, certainly in terms of the dynamic of the game. And that is, again, really encouraging from what we are dealing with. And Wolves are clearly short on bodies as well. They only had eight people on the bench, eight players, 8 substitutes. That's the word I'm looking for. They only had 8 substitutes. They have got a lot of players out. Ruben Neves is out for the next game, suspended. And they had 2 goalkeepers out of those 8 subs. So they are clearly struggling for numbers, but it is also quite clear that they have a very strong starting 11 and some really, really good players, and they can play really nicely when they get the opportunity. So put it like this: at the start of the season, I was wondering if Wolves might be one of those who get a bit caught out if Bruno Lage couldn't get things working, and maybe if Jimenez wasn't, the player that he was before his injury. Now they look a very solid mid-table team, and I think that's probably the best way of reflecting on this, because I would imagine Wolves won't stay 6th all season, but that shouldn't take away from it. And they're partly very good because they don't get beaten when it's not really happening. So it's another away clean sheet for them. They've had quite a few. So I think in that context, you have to respect what Wolves are and what Norwich were up against, because they were an above average, I would say, Premier League team. Also one given a really tough afternoon, which I think we should all take encouragement here. This is Norwich really getting at teams and giving them a going over, testing them as well as being tested. It's brilliant. This is all we really ever wanted to see. And it's happened over the last 2 games. So that's hugely encouraging. Other hugely encouraging things were the fact that Norwich have kept a clean sheet. They are now 3 games unbeaten. In truth, they restricted Wolves pretty well in terms of their chances. They didn't have many shots. Wolves don't actually have that many shots, or certainly haven't recently away from home. They have sort of been a bit stodgy, so take that with what it is. But Norwich also did defend that pretty well. They defended their box and made sure that Jimenez didn't really get any close in opportunities, which other teams have struggled to do. So you should take a bit of credit for that as well. The best opportunity probably came from Norwich getting a bit caught at the back, and they feel a bit caught at the moment. I'm going to have a proper look into it tonight, but I feel like they're a bit caught at the moment between what they know and what they've tried to do in the past, and maybe what Dean Smith wants them to do. I feel like there's certain decisions they've got to make with the ball at the back, and some of that maybe is stuff to be figured out. But in general, I thought what they were was a lot better organised in transition. Wolves generally found it difficult when they were turning Norwich around, which is great. That is much more secure. There was one moment in the second half where Norwich actually probably had the chance of about a 6v4 break from a Wolves corner. Brandon Williams' ball gets cut out, and all of a sudden Wolves have basically got 6v4 going the other way. That was the only point at which Norwich really looked caught out in a transition situation, and that was something that Dean Smith was trying to work out. So that was encouraging too. I thought there were some very good performances. I thought Max Aarons was very good and arguably had Norwich's best opportunity. Watch it back. There's a possibility that rather than claim the 1-2 from Lucas Rupp, he could have left it and Teemu Pukki was there. And, between the two of them, who's the better goal scorer, you would say. But in fairness, Max didn't do much wrong with the finish. It was a good save by Jose Sarr. And Norwich did have the better opportunities. They did have some really good ones. And actually, on reflection, that one was a decent save. Finish from a full-back wasn't maybe quite good enough. Teemu Pukki stretching for one where it was a lovely, lovely move, again with Lucas Rupp. Just couldn't quite get enough on it to direct it properly. Lucas himself had a really good opportunity, and he isn't a goal scorer, and his finish looked like someone who isn't a goal scorer. And they were kind of the main opportunities, I think, for Norwich. So they created them, and that's good. And I guess it will come to the point where either they gain their confidence and can take chances like that, or there is a question mark over their prowess in terms of quality and finishing in goals at this level, because that will be an issue. But Dean Smith obviously said that he's happy that they're creating chances, so you can understand that. So two really nice elements there. He named kind of a team I was expecting, to be honest. Same back five, as in four and Krul, in a 4-3-3. Norman did have to go off with a pelvic issue. That is a worry. I think he had hernia surgery in the summer. So I don't know if they're related. They might not be related in any way at all. But that would be good if that wasn't a major issue, and they don't know at the moment. So we'll have to see. But actually, the reassuring thing in a way was that Norwich, if they'd have lost Matthias Norman 4 weeks ago, you'd have gone, oh my goodness me. Today, it didn't really affect them once they got a grip again of the game. I thought there was a period where after he went off, Matthias, where Norwich probably were giving a bit too much ground, but they recovered that. Billy Gilmore then sat in the deeper role, so fair play, because I do sometimes question him playing there. I thought he was good. I don't know if he was man of the match good, but he did pick up the sponsors man of the match for the second week running here. And credit for Lucas Rupp, because I thought he did really well. In fact, short of not taking his chance, he was at the heart of most that was good in that second half. And for someone who seems to polarize opinion, and you kind of appreciate there are limitations with him, that's a lovely performance from him today, and I think he deserves some kudos. Max was very good running the ball, I thought. Brandon Williams, again, did really well. And Josh Sargent put a shift in, not with the same impact maybe from starting, but he did okay too, and that energy is important, and he does provide a really nice outlet for Norwich. And then a word for Milot Rashica, who I thought was excellent, really. Probably deserved a bit more, something to have come off his good work, because he looked like a really useful player today. So I know that I was quite harsh on him after the Southampton game. It's come from a place, and I had to explain this on the Norwich City social space that we did do with Hodgie on Friday at Friday lunchtime. So check that out on Twitter. But I just want to see more of him, because I think there's so much there that he can give. His name was being sung by the ground today, and I just feel we're moving again another step closer to him really being able to deliver. And Dean Smith managed the game really well in terms of substitutions. I thought Kieran Dowell put the best cross of the day in when he came on, and again Teemu Pukki just couldn't either anticipate it or stretch enough when it got there. But Teemu's performance ran his socks off and did very well too. So lots of positives. Christos Jolis came on, and again. And I like that we're seeing minutes from him, because again, I think he's someone that it's there to be tapped into, and it's a shame that hadn't happened before. But clearly, Dean Smith likes him, because that's about both games he's brought him on in. So yeah, lots of positives. I mean, there's still plenty to work on. That's the thing, and you can still see the improvement. But what I like is that there's a coherence. You can see how they're trying to defend, and you can see why it's working. You can see the bits they need to improve on, but you can also see how they're trying to structure attacks to be a threat. I have to be honest. I mean, I know we're only 2 games in, but it is absolute night and day from where we were earlier in the season. It really is. Now, there may have been lots of extenuating circumstances in that, but looking at this Norwich team, the way they're playing now and the way they're being coached, just disregard the championship. It is night and day from anything we've seen from Norwich in the Premier League since COVID, to be honest. So that's encouraging. This point will probably only be as good as it is or not when we realise what the situation is after the game up at Newcastle. Matthias Norman's obviously going to be an injury doubt. We are getting to the realm where if a player picks up a 5th booking, they will be suspended for a game. Newcastle have got a few of those themselves in terms of Matt Ritchie and Jamal Lascelles. So that's interesting and a bit for Eddie Howe to work with. It will be Eddie Howe's first game in the dugout at St James's Park at home. So it's going to be a huge occasion. They lost to Arsenal today. Lots of people saying, well, they're now obviously in serious trouble. I mean, to me, you lose 2-0 at Arsenal if you're a lower half Premier League team. That just happens. Arsenal love those games. So it doesn't really change anything. Newcastle will go into that game just assuming they have to win. There'll be huge pressure, but also huge energy to deliver that. It's going to be one hell of an evening for them. They will assume they have to win. They're going to win at some point because they haven't won a game all season, and I'm trying not to think about that thought. And then there's Norwich. If Norwich can go there and not lose that game, that would be just a wonderful result. We're going to learn a lot more from watching a Dean Smith side away from home. He's been quite lucky that he's taken over a team that had won a game and then had 2 home games. Let's see what they've got after that. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. No goals to report, but I did. Sorry, I was late. I was just catching up on the highlights to remember what had happened, which is grand. I don't know when we'll be back down here. I guess it's a little bit of time, isn't it? Because it's Spurs next weekend away. So 2 big games coming up. I'll be on the road. I'll be with you as always. Make sure you check out all the stuff on The Athletic as usual. If you're not a subscriber to The Athletic and you've been thinking that you want to, it is only £1 per month for the next 12 months if you sign up before the end of Cyber Monday. It's our Black Friday offer. Do it. Go to any of my stories, theathletic.co.uk. If you're not a subscriber, it'll take you through to there and you can subscribe for that offer. We don't do many of these offers now. It's a huge offer. So if you've just been sitting there thinking, I want to subscribe, but I haven't yet, do it. It's not just for my Norwich City content either, by the way. It's for everything on the Athletic site. All of the football coverage, which is second to none, I have to say that. And I genuinely believe it. Look at it. It's amazing. But also the NFL, NBA, all of the US stuff as well. Loads of stuff in there for that subscription price. So that's my sales pitch done. On the Ball podcast will be back on Monday night, as far as I'm aware. So we'll be doing that. And obviously I'll be up at Newcastle on Tuesday evening. I will see you all then. Let me remove the score because I think we all know that it was goalless. Thank you as always for all your time and watchings. I'll read over your questions as well. And comments, because that's always fun. In the meantime, have a lovely weekend. It'll be a quick turnaround this time. So it leaves me just to say a very goodbye to you all. And I will see you again very soon. Hope the mic ruffled less today. I'll wait to watch it back and listen. Take care of yourselves. Good night.